Good afternoon to everybody present here. Myself, Dr. S. Prabhu, and I am working as an assistant professor in Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. So now I am going to give my research ideas and performance analysis of switch reluctance motor using magnet software. Right? So according to my concern, I have some of the research ideas with switch reluctance motor. Right? The first one, whatever may be the motor, it may be a switch reluctance motor or it may be a DC motor, it can be a DC motor. Our ultimate aim after designing, after fabricating, the motor has to be start. Right? If it is not running, then it is made as a weight on the table. Right? So first aim is we have to make a machine as a self-starting. Right? And second one is, since our switch reluctance motor is a doubly salient machine, it is a doubly salient machine. Both the stator as well as the rotor having a salient pole in structure, so that gives our torque ripple in the characteristics, right? So this torque ripple impact in the efficiency of a machine, right? And the second one is iron losses. So the iron loss is determined by the laminating material. And coming to the third one is depend upon the windings. Either we are going for the mutual coupled winding or coming to our conventional classical type of winding. And the fourth one is flux reversal. Right? Fourth one is flux reversal. And this flux reversal occurs due to different change in the excitation. Right? Suppose phase A is exciting, again phase B I have to excite. So in this criteria, what happens? The flux direction gets changed. So that is said to be as flux reversal. And now next one is flux reversal free stator, right? So in the case of stator back ion, whatever the flux reversal is happening, the flux reversal now we are going to eliminate. So that will impact in the vibration of a machine, right? And coming to the permanent magnet assist switch reluctance motor, if you want to increase the power density of the machine, so generally at starting we know the formula for a motor, P equal to omega T. That means torque is directly proportional to the power, right? So without increasing the average torque of a machine, I want to increase the power density. So in order to increase the power density, in this case what happens? There is no possibility of increasing the power density without increasing the torque, because both are directly proportional. So in this criteria, what I am going to do, I am going to give my permanent magnet to the switch reluctance motor, right? Such that the permanent magnet, while assisting in switch reluctance motor, we should be careful because it may tend to attract the rotor, right? So that the locking will occur. Right? And the third one is cogging, because we are having a permanent magnet, so that leads to a cogging torque in a machine, right? And then if it is a permanent magnet SRM motor, there will be two possibility of a torque developed in the machine. One is reluctance torque, another one is torque due to the permanent magnet. So what are those impacts in that? And the last one is fault tolerance, right? That is the winding fault. And the first one, coming to the self-starting. So now we are going into deeper. So coming to a two-phase SRM motor, right? So we know that two-phase SRM motor is not a self-starting motor. It's not a self-starting motor. So in order to make a self-starting for this two-phase SRM motor, what we are going to do here is, we are going to do some geometric modification. So that geometric modification can be as single stepped air gap or two stepped air gap. If you go for single step and two step, then these are said to be as a asymmetric rotor, whereas the gadget pole is said to be as a symmetric motor, right? Symmetric motor, but this gadget pole type of switch reluctance motor will give the performance of asymmetric motor, right? And then, so why I have to confuse and why I have to make myself in a tragedy to choose two-phase SRM motor? better I can go for a multi-phase, more than two-phase switch reluctance motor. So that makes my motor to be a self-starting one, right? So what is the problem with that? If you go for a three-phase or four-phase, if you go for more number of phases, what happens? The converter size will be increased. Why? The reason is the turning on of the switches in the converter will be more if you increase the number of phases. So we are just going for minimum number of phase assist switch reluctance motor. Here phase means not the supply phases, it is phase windings. And coming to the torque ripple concept, sir, in the torque characteristics, the most important thing of a switch reluctance motor is the torque, right? So this torque characteristics has a vital role in our performance of a SRM motor, not only SRM motor but also all electrical machines, right? So I want to reduce this torque ripple. So torque ripple is nothing but a pulsation in the torque characteristics. So how can I remove this torque pulsation? So practically the removal of torque pulsation, that is the elimination of torque ripple, is not possible. So what I can do here is I can able to minimize the torque ripple so that I can able to increase the efficiency of a machine. So the possibility way, how can I increase the efficiency of a machine? By reducing the torque ripple. So number one is by incorporating pole shoes, and then the second one is claw pole, tapered pole, by using a rectangular pole, so where the rectangular pole is the conventional pole which are used in a SRM motor, and then make some combination of the above all possible. Either go for a rectangular pole with pole shoes, or go for a tapered pole with pole shoes, or go for a claw pole with pole shoes, right? So make some combinations of the above aspects. And now, and the next one is turning on and turning off, because the turning on and turning off plays a vital role in a operation of a machine. So this turning on, that is the conduction angle. The conduction angle plays a vital role in the efficiency of a machine. So that also we can able to change. So that we have to see here. So that is the important one into reduce the torque ripple. And next one is by assisting a interpoles. By you are going to keep a interpole. So this is basically as we see in our DC machines or in our AC machines. And coming to the iron losses. So going to the iron losses is mostly depend upon the lamination what we are going to prefer for our switch reluctance motor, right? So there is some factors that we have to consider while determining the efficiency of a machine, or while choosing the lamination of a core material, right? So we have to go for a non-oriented laminating core material, such that the factors have to be considered are the thickness of the laminating core material, as well as the BH curve, as well as the losses. So moreover, I didn't include in my presentation the another one criteria here is density. The another factor is density of a material, because now we are discussing about the iron losses, but the density plays a vital role in the mechanical oscillation of a machine. So we have to give an impact over the density of a material also, right? So coming to the next one, that is mutual windings, type of windings. So the mutual coupled winding will give a short flux path, Since it is giving a short flux path, the utilization of core in the machine will be less. The utilization of core in the machine will be less, thereby the iron loss in the machine will be reduced. Moreover to this, the torque of the machine also will be reduced, right, in a minimum level of values. And now coming to the classical type of winding, the classical type of winding is a long flux machine. That means the flux path is large, it occupies more number of core area in a switch reluctance motor. So it gives a higher value of torque while comparing to a mutual coupled switch reluctance motor, right? Moreover to this, the iron loss also seems to be higher, right? So we have to choose the type of winding depending upon our torque requirement. And coming to the flux reversal, so we all know the speed formula, how to calculate the speed. We know that n equal to 120F by P. So n means speed in RPM, P means number of poles, and then F So F here is the frequency of flux reversal. So F here means frequency of flux reversal. So what is this frequency of flux reversal? Right? So when you are exiting phase A, the flux will be moving in one direction. If you are exiting phase B, the flux will be moving in another direction. So that change in frequency, the change in direction of the flux will have a frequency value. So that frequency value only we are mentioning as 50. 50 here. That also should be as 50 years. Even though it is a DC machine, we are giving 50. That means it is not the supply frequency in DC machine. It is flux reversal in the DC machines. And coming to the flux reversal free stator. So how can I get a flux reversal free stator? Either I can go for a short flux machine, that is by going for a mutual coupled SRM motor, or by adopting a common pole between the two main poles which is having a winding in the structure, right? And then, so why I am going for this type of flux reversal free means, again it is going to impact with the unbalanced magnetic force. So this unbalanced magnetic force will play a vital role with the vibration aspects. And coming to the permanent magnet based SRM. So why I have to go for a permanent magnet based SRM means, in order to increase the power density of a machine, right? In order to increase the power density of a machine, right? So if I want to increase the power density of a machine, I have to choose a correct permanent magnet, right? So not only choosing a permanent magnet is essential, but also I have to place the permanent magnet in a proper direction of flux. Suppose I am placing north pole and south pole, right? But in some motor, if I reverse the direction of permanent magnet, that is south pole and north pole, means then I can able to get a high value of torque, such that the coil torque will be reduced. So that analysis we see now. And then, since it is a permanent magnet, there is a origin of coil torque here. There is a rise of a coil torque in case of permanent magnet switch lightens motor, right? So coil torque means nothing but it is a torque which is going to oppose the electromagnetic torque or a reluctance torque, right? So coil torque, how can we be able to identify? When the machine is not fed with the supply, just rotate the rotor, we will obtain a torque. So that torque is said to be as cogging torque. And now the remaining things we are going to discuss with our simulation packages. So now, so I just opened the window of our magnet. So after opening the window of a magnet, I want to set the environment for my system. So by setting the environment, the first important thing is unit. In which unit I am going to feed my input. So I am just checking it as millimeter and giving apply to you towards it, and then going to the toolbar, and then I want to give the input. So where I can able to feed the input. So I can giving it to keyboard input bar. So see at the bottom, I can get a keyboard input bar here, right? I arrived at keyboard input bar. Again, I want to draw a machine now. I want to draw a machine now. So whatever maybe the instruction we are giving to this platform, we have to give first installation, that is 0, 0. So now I am going to draw the shaft of a machine. Now I am going to draw the shaft of a machine. So how to draw the shaft of the machine? So the front view of the shaft here is a circle. The front view of the shaft here is a circle. So I just giving 0, 0. And now I am going to consider the radius of the shaft is 10 mm. So 0, 10, it is 10 mm. And then I am going to draw the rotor back ion. So again I am going to consider it as 0, 20. So 20 be the radius. Again going to click this view all. Again I initializing it such that I am going to get a circle from the origin point. Right? Again it is 0 comma 0. I am just initializing. So after initializing I want to draw the rotor poles. So it is a salient pole. So it is 0 comma 30. I just make an assumption for the design. So now I want to draw a angle. So angle means definitely I want to draw a lines, right, with some angle, right. So I just changing this. See at the bottom of this page I am having x and y. That means x direction and y direction. What is the value? Now I want to draw a line. Line means I want to have a straight line with the radius value with some angle also I needed. So I just changing this icon such that xy is now replaced as r comma theta. Now again I am selecting this line. Again I am going to initialize it. So after initializing we have to check it once whether I am getting it is from the origin or not. So after getting it from the origin I am going to choose the values of the outer radius. So here the radius value is 30, 30 comma I am just considering the angle value is take it as 10. It is an assumption design, right. So now I want to consider this one as the origin, this point as the origin. So in order to consider this point as the origin I am just going to change this icon. See at the bottom of the page I am just having r comma theta. So this r comma theta has to be changed into del r comma theta. So I am going to click this toggle button. So the r comma theta is changed into del r comma theta, right. It is changed in del r comma theta, and just I want to draw a line in the reverse direction towards the shaft of a machine. So it is in opposite direction. So I am giving a negative symbol. I have given a negative symbol. So after giving a negative symbol, I want to choose the length of this rotor poles. Just I am giving some values. After that we can be able to trim the length of the sketch, right. Again, so which is the angle, right. So I am going to draw a line which is parallel to the x-axis. So I give the value as 0, right. So now we have drawn the line, right. So now I want to delete this one because the only thing I need is I want only this line, only this part of the line. So this part I don't want, this part I don't want, I want to delete it. So I am going to select this one. So if I select, what happens, the entire line is getting selecting. So I want to cut into two segments. So where is the segment tool? So I want to cut it now. So take this scissor tool. So this is the segment tool to cut. So now I am selecting this. We can able to see it is split as two segments. Now again I am selecting, I want to make a same line at the negative side, at the bottom side. So I just draw mirror edges, again keeping 1 comma 0. Again the essential thing is I want to give the transformation copy as enabled one, right. So only the line will come at the bottom, otherwise this line will be just shifted here and there will be no line available at this instant, right. So now what I want to do is I want to rotate this to the all parts of the rotor depend upon our requirement. So now I am going to select only 6 rotor poles. I am going to select only 6 rotor poles. So it is a rotation angle. It is a rotation angle of 360 degree. It is a rotatory machine. It is of 360 degrees. So 360, our requirement is 6 rotor poles. So 360 divided by 6, the answer given here is 60 degrees. So I want to rotate this one. I am going to draw rotating it. So rotation angle is 60 and number of copies here is 6, and I just given and apply here. So that what happens, this pole is now located to our requirement. So I need 6 rotor poles. Suppose if you need 8 rotor poles, so what you have to do, 360 divided by 8. So it gives 45 degrees, right. So accordingly you have to manipulate the value. So now I want to delete the unwanted parts in the machine. So again the entire circle, only few things I don't want and the remaining things I needed. So I want to go to the same cutting tool, that is the segment cut at the top of the page is available. I just selecting it and I am selecting it. So which are things I don't want, I am just going to delete it now. So now we have arrived a machine with the 6 rotor poles. Now I want to draw a stator. So in between stator and rotor there should be some air gap. There should be some air gap. Now I am going to consider this air gap as 0, 0.3. So the outer radius what we know is 30. It is 30. Now I am going to include the air gap as 0.3. So the exact value is 30.3. So it is 30.3. So I had arrived a value. Now we are going to checking out the air gap. So now I can able to check out the air gap. So air gap is order of 0.3. Just see at the top, it will be seeing here. So this gives 0.3 values, right? Now I want to draw the poles for the stator. I want to draw the poles for the stator. So I want to draw a area. I want to draw a sketch up to which I want to draw the pole length, right? So the pole height of the SRM motor now I am going to consider here is just go for a 40 mm. It is assumption design, not exact one, and 0, 0. So 0, 0 means here it is 0, 40. So I drawn this one. Now I am going to draw the back end of the stator. It is 0, 50. So now I want to draw the poles for the stator. So here the poles for the stator means again definitely I need an angle value with lines. So I am selecting the line, I am changing the x comma y to r comma theta. So it is 30.3, comma the theta value be take it as 10, right? Again now I am going to consider this point as the origin point. So I am going to convert r comma theta as del r comma theta. So now I am going to change this one. Now I want to draw a line towards the forward direction. So forward means it is positive. So I am going to give 50, 0 again parallel to the x-axis. So I just drawn this line. I am going to delete this one. And I deleted that. Now I want to mirror this one. So mirroring. So now the thing here is I want to rotate it. Draw, rotate this one. So 360 by 8 I am going to choose as 8 stator poles. So I arrived here as 8 stator poles. So the remaining part I am going to delete this. So now we have arrived this one, right? Now what I am going to do here is I just going to draw a coil. I am just going to draw a coil here. Then draw, mirror it, this 1, 0. So now again I am going to rotate this one. So now the same value as for the stator apply here, right? So now the sketch for our machine is ready. The sketch for our machine is completed. Now I want to make the sketch into a machine model, right? So how to convert it with some lamination? So I am selecting this one. So this is the surface selection tool. If I select this one, so this is indicated with some red color. Again I am going to model the sketch. So this is a rotor. Again the material is M19. So the distance is nothing but the stack length of the machine. So initially I just leaving it. Now I am going to see the view. So this is the 1 mm thickness. But generally the machine thickness will be somewhat wider. So that is the stack length. So now we are going to see the stack length of a machine. So here sweep distance means it is the stack length. So I am going to give us 50. So why I am giving 50 means the stack length of the machine should be more or less equal to half of the stack length of the machine should be more or less equal to double the time of the diameter. Double that. Sorry. The stack length of the machine should be half the time of the diameter, right? So that should be depend upon our requirement. That should be depend upon our requirement of torque. Model. And this one is stator. So now I'm going to give 50 mm here, and the remaining things I'm going to select, and then I'm going to give it as a copper for winding purposes. So now it is given. So now I want to say which phase I have to exit first. So definitely I want to convert this machine to start with high starting torque. So definitely during unaligned condition I can able to get high starting torque. So before going feeding the supply to the machine, I want to choose with number of turns, right? I want to choose number of turns, and then I want to make it as a coil. Now only I just assign material to this. Now I want to make it as a coil. So as we know, the phase winding for a switch reluctance motor. So phase winding means when opposite two pole windings are connected in a series to form a single phase is said to be as a phase windings. So now these are the two opposite pole windings. Now they are going to be connected in series. So just go to the model and make a simple coil. So the coil 1 arises here. So this is coil 1. This is coil 1, right? Not the phase A. A phase it's not. It is coil 1, right? Now I am going to choose the second one. So these two are going to connect in series. Simple coil. Coil 3. Again. So again going it and giving as a coil. So now I'm going to select this one. The entire phase is selected, right? So now I want to choose the number of turns. I want to choose the number. So I just renaming it by pressing F2. F2 in our system. Just I rename it and just keeping is 100 turns per phase. I am keeping 100 turns per phase. Right now, after going to this one, now I want to check whether the winding polarity are correct or not. I want to check whether the winding polarity are correct or not. So how to check this winding polarity? How to check this winding polarity? So that is depending upon Fleming's left hand rule. So here it is dot, right? Here it is dot. So this one also should be dot, right? Dot. So dot, and here also dot. If this is cross, and this one also should be cross, just double click this one or right click reverse coil direction, right? Again click here, it is dot, it is cross, and this one should be cross. This is dot, either double click or just reverse coil direction. The coil direction will be changed, right? Again going back here, this dot, cross, dot. You can see here these two are dot and this one is cross. So like that you have to arrange our coil sequence. Right. So this one is correct. Right. So now. So everything is ready. Now I want to run a machine here. Right. So just I want to give a boundary condition here. Just draw a circle bigger than its size of a motor and model, make a coil here, and this one is the boundary, and we have to give ignore holes for the boundary. It is the essential condition, otherwise some space is there and error will come at the center point of the motor, right? So I didn't change the material should be air, the material should be air, right? Right. Now I am going to check it out. Okay, it is assigned as a boundary, right? So the three-dimensional view. So this is the three-dimensional view of a motor, right? For the 50 stack line. Previously, how it is visible? It is visible as a small line. So this gives our stack length of the motor, right? So which coil I want to excite? So during this, so this one is in unaligned condition. This one is in unaligned condition. I am going to excite this. That is giving supply. Just take it as 3 amps, not more than that. And I am going to solve this one. Right. I am going to check the value here. It is given as 0.5. Right. Now, so this is for only this rotation angle, this instant of the rotor. If the rotor is rotated, so how it will be like that? So how to make the rotor rotation angle continuously? Go to the parameters of the property of the file and give it as an angle, and give it as 0, 1, 2, 3, up to the value of step angle. I just rotating up to 40 here, 40, right? Okay. Now I want to say this rotation is for the rotor. So citing the rotor properties, again here rotation angle will be here. So this rotation angle going to give percentage angle, percentage degree. So percentage angle and percentage degree. So after giving this, I want to give apply. So now I am going to solve this one. So before solving, I want to save this file. So save it as it is like a Word document. Right. Save it as your wish. Right. So now I'm going to solve this one. So 45 models it has to solve now. It will take some time. Okay, I will stop it now because it's taking some time. Okay. So now see here, I just got the value of 0.54 and now I'm going to check with our graph selection how the plot here is. It is having some distortion, right? So this distortion is means of the mesh value. Now see here, I'm just going to the view and give the initial to the mesh and the mesh size is somewhat bigger. So due to this, the distortion is now occurring more. So in order to predict the exact value, so what I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to give a mesh size value as 1 and applying here, and now we are going to see the mesh size. So every mesh size will be same. It is very tiny in size. See, so this is the mesh size. So after giving 1 mm. So now I am going to solve this one. Again it will take much more time. So it is taking more time. So I am going to plan to stop this one. Stop this run time of this simulation. So we will do up to 10 problems. We will try. So just stopping it now. Now if you see the torque characteristics, this torque characteristics do not have much more ripple content as previously, right? Because the mesh size has been reduced to 1 mm. So now we are going to see the torque characteristics after this solver page is disappearing. So this is the previous torque characteristics. Now we are going to see our torque characteristics now. So this is our torque characteristics, right? So the ripple content is somewhat reduced. The distortion is somewhat reduced. So now the important thing here is the flux reversal that we have to study, right? So now we have to see the flux reversal and what is the flux density, whether the obtained current value is the given current value is correct or not, or the turns value you have to increase or the turns value you have to decrease. So everything will be determined here. See, now we are going to see the flux path of this machine. We are going to see the flux path. So this is the flux path of this machine. So like this, the flux is moving, right? So this flux is moving in this direction, or the flux is moving in opposite direction. So which direction the flux is moving? So that also we have to estimate. So now, then we are going to see the flux density. So now the flux density value is 1.3, the maximum value of flux density here. Whether the flux density value is correct or not. So that also we have to estimate. Again, the direction of flux, whether it is correct or not. So now we are going to see the direction of flux. So this one is somewhat tiny, right? So I'm going to increase the arrow size. So the size I'm giving manually. So take it as 4. So this is the direction of the flux here. So here at this portion, that is, so consider this is the mid pole. This is the center pole. Left side to the center pole, the flux is moving in the clockwise direction. When we excite this phase, when we excite the adjacent phase of the center pole, the flux is moving in the back ion towards the mid pole is in clockwise direction, right? Now, I'm going to save this one, phase A. And then the next one is we want to check whether the flux density is correct or not, right? We want to check also flux density is 1.3. Just go to the material, and what material we are used here? We are used M19 material, and then right click the properties, go to the BH curve and check where 1.3 is coming here. So 1.3 is coming at this instant, right? So we can able to increase the flux density some more instant up to here 1.6, right? So afterwards what happens? It attains the operating point, that is a knee point. Again it go back to its saturation level. So at this instant only we can able to achieve a maximum efficiency. So that also depends upon the structure of the machine. So everything we have to consider, either the flux density value or the flux direction value, right? So these two. So not only that, if we see here, we can able to see the thickness, right? If we are seeing the here, just see at the top of the towards the material M19. I'm just giving the cursor here. If I keep the cursor, you can see at the last the lamination thickness is 0.36, right? So the lamination thickness is 0.36. Then only this torque will be achieved, right? For this current. Now, going back to our excitation. Going back to our excitation. So now I am turning this phase as 0. Just rename it, right? So after that, this phase will be coming to the excitation. So the mid phase is this one, renaming and giving to 3 amps. Again, I am going to solve this one, and I am waiting for some time. So just remember the direction of flux. It is moving in clockwise direction at the back ion of the stator. Right? The flux is moving at the clockwise direction at the back end of the stator. Right? At which place? At the place here. Right? Left hand side to the mid pole. Here the flux is moving in the clockwise direction. Now we are going to see which side the flux is going to move. Right? So I am going to stop it now. Right. So now we are going to see the flux direction. Right? The flux density and all will be varying depend upon the rotation. This is 0.2. Now see, this is 0.3. Right? Now see, so the flux density depends upon the air gap variation. So this air gap variation plays a vital role in the value of flux density. Now going to the solid model. So now we are going to see the flux direction. So in which direction the flux is moving. Right. And don't want the flux density under. I just want the apply here. See the flux direction, it is moving in clockwise? No, it is moving in counterclockwise. Right? In previously, the flux is moving in clockwise direction. Now the flux is moving in counterclockwise direction. And this one is said to be as change in the direction of flux. And change in direction of flux is said to be as flux reversal. So only in n equal to 120 F by P for a DC machine, this frequency of flux reversal should be 50 Hz. And then if you want to see the flux density and making this vector, that is the direction of flux, so this is the flux density. And if you want to see the flux path, so this gives you a flux path at this water position. So if you go at the 10, it is going nearer, right? So likewise, the flux path is now going to be moved towards the aligned condition. When the rotor pole is aligned, then that instant itself we have to turn off the corresponding phases and starts to excite another phase. Right? See here, the direction is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. The rotor is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, whereas the phase sequence of excitation is in clockwise direction. Right? Now, coming back to the, so in our PPT I had shown the flux. So self-starting torque ripple. So how to minimize the torque ripple? So what is torque ripple means? The distortion in the torque graph, right? And then iron loss, impact in the. So now we are going to see the iron loss because we have discussed the flux reversal. So what is flux reversal? And now we are going to see about the iron loss as well as mutual and classical. So this type of winding is said to be as a classical type of winding. Now we are going to see about the mutual coupled windings. Now we are going to see about the mutual coupled windings. Right? So what is mutual coupled winding means? This one. So here it is dot and here it should be dot, but I change it to cross. And here it is cross and here it is dot. Right? So this type of winding is said to be as a mutual coupled winding. So now I am going to solve this one. So what is happening to the flux path you can see. So I just stopping this one because the runtime is higher in case of the finite element analysis. So now we are going to see the flux path. So what is the flux path? This is see what happens to the flux path. The flux path is totally changed. Previously we are having flux path like this. Now the flux path is totally changed. So this one is said to be as mutual coupled switch reluctance motor. Now see the torque at the instant 7, it is nearly 0.65. At the problem 7, that is the rotation angle, it is coming to a torque value of 0.65. Now I am going to see this result 7. At the 7 value, what is the torque here? See, at the 7th value, it is nearly 0.05, whereas previously it is 0.65. So as I told previously, if you go for a mutual coupled machine, what happens? The development of torque in the machine gets reduced. Right? So then if you want to go for high torque, definitely you have to prefer for a classical type of winding. Now, now we are going to deal with iron losses. So iron loss means definitely impact with the material. So I am going to change the stator material as well as the rotor material. So the material here I am just going to change M800, so some different type of material. And for the stator also, but coil should be copper, right? That you should not change because it is iron loss, right? So now here the iron loss here is 0.004, 0.01. The extra losses, eddy current loss is very negligible, so it is showing as 0. Now I am going to solve this. So just remember this value 0.004, 0.01. So problem 7 came. Now we are going to start this one. Now if you see here, the value will be changing. See 0.01, 0.04. So what happens? The rotor is getting more value of iron loss, right? So the iron losses, and here also see the eddy current losses is increased. Previously it is 0, 0, that is lesser value, but here some more value is there. So what happens? So this depends upon the laminating material. The iron loss depends upon the laminating material. So while selecting the laminating material, we have to check the thickness. We have to check the thickness. So here the thickness is given as 1 mm, right? As well as the go to the properties, there BH curve will be available. So we have to check the BH curve with the different materials as well as the losses as well as the losses curve. So losses versus flux density. So we have to consider this curve as well as the BH curve, right? Moreover to this, slightly consider about the density because this density plays a vital role in the mechanical oscillation of a machine. Right? So the next thing is flux reversal free stator. The next thing is flux reversal free. So why we have to go for a flux reversal free means, so that will impact our vibration in the machine. So I am going to show a solved model of flux reversal free stator, which is closely associated with my research work. So now I have opened this one. So this model is nothing but a flux reversal free model where these two are one poles. Here it is connected with the mutual coupled configuration dot, cross, cross and dot. Now if you see the flux direction, you see the flux direction. See here the flux direction here, it is in the clockwise direction. It is in the clockwise direction. Now for much more deeper understanding, see, so this is the value here, right? When this phase is excited, there will be no flux in this region, right? So now we show that another one. Right. Now if you see, with phase B, that is the next phase, and see, there is no flux at the back end of the stator. There is no flux at the back end of the stator for phase B. So during phase B, only this area will be occupied. During phase A, only this area will be occupied. So there is no overlap of flux flow here. So this is said to be as flux reversal free stator switch reluctance motor, right? And that what we see here. So this is said to be as a flux reversal free stator, right? And self starting means, so definitely we have to go for a asymmetric type of rotor, because this one also a two phase machine. If you see deeply, see here, it is having some cross edge, right? This is said to be as a asymmetric. It is not having a symmetric it is a asymmetric rotor. So in order to get a smooth torque, that is a continuous torque, then only it will be generated. Otherwise, dead zone will be available in the torque characteristic.